Hey guys, I'm gonna read Proverbs chapter 5 to you guys, but I just want to explain real quick. I want to talk about relationships, like toxic relationships versus healthy relationships, and I'll give my experience with it. But first of all, I just want to say, like, Proverbs chapter 5, it basically explains to it's to get us to avoid whoredom and to make use of lawful marriage and to keep to that, because the reason this world is the way it is because we don't do that. We don't believe in God's laws, right? So we're doing the opposite. We're hurting each other, jumping from, there's no reason. Somebody explained to me why uh nobody I know and along with a lot of other people, it seems, you can't keep the same relationship going. Like, why aren't you with the same person that you were with, like the first person you ever dated? Why aren't you still with them? Why aren't you with the last 5 or 10 if you're like me? But like, I stopped, and now I know, because now I know the truth, and I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I am a relationship guy. I've had a lot of women, a lot of beautiful women, and they were all cool, but they were. I mean, it's hard to explain, but it's. I'm gonna read Proverbs chapter 5, or I'll read that. Or yeah, I should read that first, actually. 12:16. But yeah, guys, like, we need to be better. We need to do better. Um, well, before I read this chapter, let's talk about what makes a relationship toxic. All right, so obviously, lying and cheating, adultery, and adultery can be committed as if we're single. Like, if we're, well, let's keep it in the relationship. So if I'm in a relationship with a woman, right? Does she want me to, when she's not around, to be at home jerking off to porn? I'm assuming she doesn't, but I did that, you know? Like, we all do that. A lot of people do that. Um, the, the irony about, like, finding out about, the Lord calling us out, like, we're all the same. And Satan's planting the same exact seeds in all of our heads, okay? We're all doing the same. There's nothing, the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. So ever since the dawn of creation, uh, the same stuff has been going on. There's nothing new, and it's fun, but technology is making everything worse. But if you're in a relationship, what else makes a relationship toxic aside from cheating, committing adultery? So say you're in a relationship and you've never, like, physically cheated, but people do that. A lot of people do that. I've done that. Verbally, are you going around flirting with other people when your girlfriend or wife is around, like, or isn't around? I mean, like, you shouldn't be doing that. That makes the relationship toxic, guys. What you don't realize is a lot of the unbelievers. I'm gonna read this verse, but the thing about dating unbelievers is we live for the world. We have a worldly view. So, we don't have godly values. So we don't, people, of course, nobody's going to say, I'm a cheater, I'm a liar, and, like, they don't want to admit that stuff, and, like, all they relate, like, you see girls post about, and, like, men do too. I can't find anyone loyal. They'll share the same memes and stuff, and it's ridiculous. Like, they do it all the time. Everyone does that, and you're all, like, bashing each other, but nobody's taking accountability for themselves. Okay, like, you can't be doing that stuff when you're going around flirting with other people, and you're um, thinking about other guys or women. Like, you can't do that. That's childish, guys. We gotta see, the thing about, like, trauma and growing up in a sinful world and being raised by hypocrites is that it molds us into that, right? So we have to we're literally who we are until we come into the faith. We're the same people that we were as children, or teenagers. We're not evolving at all. We're not even moving on or healing. We're just doing the same thing one after the other. Like a lot of us, I mean, whether or not, if that doesn't apply to you, whether it does or it doesn't. Like that's the beauty of the truth. Like all I have to do is say it, and then all you have to do is receive it and live in denial or accept it and change. I mean, it's one or the other. But you shouldn't be fighting all the time. You shouldn't be arguing about stupid stuff. You shouldn't be worried about money. You need to get married. All right. So when I was in, none of my relationships were perfect, right? But you know what I did? Like I would give my girlfriends massages. I would massage their whole body, like their feet, their legs, their backs, and I'd do it all the time. I'd massage their temples, like give massages. Like the male and the female should be doing it. I never, the thing, I love doing that, and I never asked for it in return. And I might have gotten a little bit from certain people, but like, I didn't get that in my relationships. I gave it, but I didn't think I needed it, but I realized I wasn't because like, I'm single now, and so I've had time to reflect on my relationships, and I'm like, what is it in my relationships that I loved about anyone I was with? And, it sucks. Like, they were all beautiful and they were cool, but I honestly can't think of anything aside from what one woman did, that the rest of them did. Like, there was nothing special. Like, they were all the same, kind of like just, I mean, there was nothing that stood out about them that made them like, I don't miss, like, I don't like, I'm like, I regret being an asshole when I was. They didn't deserve that. But there's nothing I like. I would never like go back to anybody, except like there was this one girl I dated. Her name was Sonia, and we only dated for like 4 months, but I've known her all my life. And we were good friends and stuff for years up until we started to date. But like she would like randomly one day she decided, it was so random. We were in Short Pump and we were leaving, and she stopped at this flower shop and spent like $300 to buy all these like all these flowers and like mulch and stuff, and start a garden in at my mother's house, like, and we built a garden together, and we did that like as a hobby for my mother, and it was her idea, and she paid for everything. And then she would like bring food home from her job for my to my, like, she would like get food for my family. She'd ask me what my family liked to eat and stuff like that. Like she asked a lot about uh she wanted to know, she was interested in like, was interested in like my likes and desires and like that of my family's, and it was really cool, and nobody else has really done that before. And like she was really cool with that stuff, like among everything else, but I really love that about her. But oh yeah, Proverbs, I forgot which page it was. But yeah, you gotta be selfless, guys. You gotta let the Lord teach you how to. You can't do it. I know there's probably that rare person that are watching my videos and they're like, their eyes twitching and they're gritting their teeth, thinking like, even though they're wicked however, as fuck, they're like, they want to like they just don't want to believe that God is the only way when He is. And like that's why we gotta like spread the word. But like you need the Lord. That's why the world is the way it is. It's why there's cheating and lying and all this. Like the world is overpopulated, guys. You can't be going out and having sex and getting people pregnant, and then once the child gets here, you're not taking care of them. That's your life at that point. If you have kids, you need to take care of them. It's not about you anymore. Like I know a lot of us. Oh, well, I'm not gonna say me because I don't have any kids. I got a nephew and a niece that I look after plenty. Probably definitely a lot more than like some of these parents. But guys, once you have kids, that's your life is now. I mean, their life is more important now. You got to raise them. Like you got to be with them all the time. I know a lot of people want to have children and take pictures and post pictures of them and be like, okay, so the world thinks I'm a good parent, but then they got to dump them on the grandparents or babysitters, or and they go out and do whatever they want, or they leave them with, they take them out and do drugs and argue with people right in front of them and stuff like that. But you can't do that stuff. Like we can't do that. That causes trauma. That's why we're all screwed up. Like the whole world is doing it, guys. Don't believe what everyone is showing you. Go off of your own experiences and then think about your friends and the people you're around and pay attention to what they're saying and what they're doing and apply that to the world and use God's word to do that. He will lead you to the truth. He's going to explain it to you. He wants to teach you. He wants his apostles and evangelists to teach you these things. And he wants you to come to him so he can show you and reveal the truth to you. Like, that's what he wants. He doesn't want you to be miserable anymore. He doesn't want you to be confused about what's real and who's real, and he'll let you know. He wants you to know. Not many people are. That's the thing. You know, you got everyone is saying that they're perfect and good and real, and they aren't. Now, unless they are following Christ, okay? Like, that's the truth. And, like, guys, maybe there are some people who are in the world who obey all of man's laws and are somewhat good. It's possible. But you know, the fact is, if they don't accept Jesus Christ or acknowledge him, they're going to hell. Isn't that like, that's the truth. Like, you have to. I mean, you can't be good in this world without the Lord teaching you how to be. You can't. You can't judge people and say you're good. You can't. Not when even if there was one person in the world who existed that was like Jesus, his follower, his disciple, and they behaved exactly like him, and say they were the only person doing that, they'd be good. You aren't. You aren't good because you hold the door open for somebody walking into 7-Eleven one day. You're not good because you compliment girls to get in their pants. Like, you're not good because you didn't fight and argue one day out of the entire year. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Valentine's Day, that's a pagan holiday. Every day is Valentine's Day, guys. Every day. Same with Mother's and Father's Day. Every day. Honor the parents every day. Like, we gotta, come on. Come on, guys. That having holidays for these things are just ways of saying, okay, as long as we do it that one day, then we can just pretend the rest of the year. No, we can't do that, all right? We can't think the way we do. We can't judge other people. We can't put other people down. We can't be sensitive. We can't be dependent, codependent. We can't be all these things that the world is conditioning us to be, okay? We can't do that. We can't be ignorant, all right? But this is Proverbs chapter 5. All right, so my son, be attentive to my wisdom, godly wisdom learned by costly experience. Incline your ear to my understanding, that you may exercise discrimination and discretion, good judgment, and your lips may reserve knowledge and answer wisely to temptation. For the lips of an immoral woman, drip honey like a honeycomb, and her speech is smoother than oil. But in the end she is bitter like the extract of wormwood. Wormwood is bitterness, and it's in the world now. Like, the spirit of, like, the wormwood it's like we're all broken. We're all broken by these dysfunctional relationships. And there's wormwood is just, it's spreading like wildfire. Sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold of Sheol, the netherworld, the place of the dead. so that she does not think seriously about the path of life. Her ways are aimless and unstable. She cannot know where her path leads. Now then, my sons, listen to me, and do not forget the words of my mouth. Let your way in life be far from her, and do not go near the door of her house. Avoid being near the places of temptation, or you will give your honor to others, and your years to the cruel one. And strangers will be filled with your strength, and your hard-earned wealth will go to the house of a foreigner who does not know God. And you will groan when your life is ending, when your flesh and your body are consumed, and you say, how I hated instruction and discipline, and my heart despised correction and reproof. I have not listened to the voice of my teachers, nor have I inclined my ear to those who instructed me. I was almost in total ruin in the midst of the assembly and congregation. Drink water from your own cistern of a pure marriage relationship, and fresh running water from your own well. Should your springs, children, be dispersed as streams of water in the streets, confine yourself to your own wife. Let your children be yours alone, and not the children of strangers with you. Let your fountain wife be blessed with the rewards of fidelity, and rejoice in the wife of your youth. Let her be as a loving hind and graceful doe. Let her breast refresh and satisfy you at all times. Always be exhilarated and delight in her love. Why should you, my son, be exhilarated with an immoral woman, and embrace the bosom of an outsider, pagan? For the ways of man are directly before the eyes of the Lord, and he carefully watches all of his paths, all of his comings and goings. The iniquities done by a wicked man will trap him, and he will be held with the cords of his sin. He will die for lack of instruction, discipline, and in the greatness of his foolishness, he will go astray and be lost. All right, so that's the amplified version of Proverbs chapter 5. And like I said, man, all this that's explaining to avoid whoredom. Okay, worldly woman, the strange woman. Like, that's how worldly women are, women who aren't in the faith. It's one or the two, guys. God and Satan exist, okay? Jesus' disciples follow Jesus. They are good. It's not many of us. It's not many people in the world, okay? Everyone else has a worldly view. They are either they're lost and wicked. They're both, because even the lost are living in sin. Like, there are people like me. I like to think of myself as like I was lost, but I was wicked too. But I was looking for love in all the wrong places for the wrong reasons. I didn't even know how to love. I thought, you can't love and be a judgmental person. You can't love and be a gossiper. Think about your relationships. You know what else makes your relationships toxic, or our relationships toxic? The fact that we argue all the time, and then we go out and we gossip about each other. Gossip about our girlfriends, and while they're gossiping about us, and then we're flirting with other people while they're flirting with other people. And this is going on daily, guys, on social media, at work, out and about, at the bars. Guys, it's happening to everyone. It's not just you. It's happening to everyone. Like, it's bad. And I hate to admit this, but it's the truth. But I ended up with people that were dating people that I knew, and even though their relationships were toxic and they were dying to get away from it, I was wrong to do what I did. But what I'm saying is that we got to be better friends. We got to be better dating partners, and we can't do that without the instruction of the Lord, guys. Like I said, don't let the whole reason why I share all the music and I made all the playlists I made, and I share videos like this made by my brothers and sisters in the faith, is so that I can help you understand that this is real. This is the reality we live in. You got to get out of the matrix. The world is the matrix, okay? Jesus Christ is Neo, and he's pulling us out, And we're trying to pull others out, but you're stuck in this reality that you want to believe that it's popular, but it just never works out. It doesn't work, okay? Look, you're not the center of the universe, all right? I hate to tell you that, but you're not. You need Jesus to teach you that we're all equal and that we're all important, okay? That's how you start to get better. That's when you begin to change and you realize that there's more to this life than meets the eye. You have to realize, like, you are not the center of the universe. You only think you are because of the worldly view. You know, we all like to pretend that we are selfless, but that's not true. If that were true, we wouldn't ignore everyone. We wouldn't put people down, and we wouldn't judge others, and we wouldn't argue with people all the time. We wouldn't do that, guys. Satan is the only enemy that humanity has, and Jesus is the only savior. Okay, but if you do not accept that, then you just look at everyone as your enemy, or you look at people who aren't your friends as your friends. You're deceived. It's deception. It's mass deception, all right? But and like in Proverbs 5, like God is instructing us not to go after the strange woman. Like as soon as it destroys us. We're like, the removal of chastity on anyone is dangerous, because then we get the spirit of lust. Any ungodly type of fornication, like think about it, guys, all fornicators go to hell. So if you're going, like all the people that I know who are in relationships, even if they've been in the relationship for a year or two and they're posting happy or whatever, and they're not married and they're having sex, and even if the relationship's as decent as they posted it to be, they're going to hell because they're not married. And I guarantee, because they haven't read the Bible, that they think about and lust for other people. Guys, the spirit of lust is what we call love. And it's not. Lust is lust. Like, I have never been in a relationship and haven't lusted for other women. Like, that's the truth. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Like, I knew within 10 seconds of looking at someone whether or not I would have sex with them. And that, like, that's the truth. And it is for a lot of us, but not everyone's going to admit it. And that's the problem. The problem is that, if we all were honest with each other, if we could all be honest, like we could overcome Satan and his bullshit, but nobody's going to be. People are so stuck in denial. They are really wicked. Like, you got to keep in mind, there are people in this world who like to rape women, want to get them drunk and drugged up so they can have sex with them. People that want to touch little children. It's weird. People that want to have sex with animals. People that want to hurt people just for the fun of it, that want to torture them, that want to kill them, murder. People who are envious of other people. They want to be them. They want to date who they're dating. That's why you got friends. That's why your best friends end up having sex with your girlfriends and stuff, or stealing them. Guys, people are not who they say they are, all right? They're not. And keep in mind, these worldly things, they're valueless compared to like heaven. Here's another thing about heaven. It's going to be painless. There's no pain in heaven. To live on earth is to experience both joy and peace, as well as enduring suffering and pain. But difference between heaven and hell, see, it's like a mixture of the two here on earth. All right, depending on who we follow, is what we get the most out of. But like as far as Jesus and Satan. But in heaven is nothing but joy and peace. There's no pain, no suffering. But hell is the exact opposite. It's only pain and suffering. And whatever joy and peace we experience here on earth is going to be amplified. Like in heaven, once our spirits ascend, like we're going to experience joy and peace like you can't even fathom. You can't even imagine it. So think about whatever it is here on earth that that you consider to be good in your life. That's nothing compared to what you're going to have in eternity with Jesus and his kingdom. And think about the worst thing that you've ever been through, the worst thing that you suppress, that you can't even deal with, that you deny, that you're too afraid to admit. That is nothing compared to what hell has in store. It's forever, guys. Like, it's forever. But, healthy relationships, no relationships are perfect, but if God is involved and you're married, they're going to be better. He'll teach you how to be better. You shouldn't be lusting for other people. So even if you deny it and you pretend that you don't, and you're cheating and you're doing all these things and you're arguing all the time, that relationship's not going to last. It's not. I mean, it never will. It'll never work out. It didn't work out before. It didn't work out the time before that, and it's not going to work out now, and it won't work out next time. We got to grow and change, all right? But that's all I'm going to say for now. Love you guys. Later.